And so now you're in Dubai, and like you said, you've been here 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a nice stretch of time.
Yeah.
What brought you here, and how did you make that decision to make the move?
So I've been to before I decided to move here, I'd been to Dubai like 3 or 4 times. I'd always come for a party holiday. I'd throw in some DJing as well. So like I'd always tie in a couple of DJ sets whilst coming out here and just basically getting on it and stuff. And then lockdown obviously happened in 2020, and towards the end of lockdown, I had a friend that lived in Dubai. He probably moved to Dubai maybe 2018, 2019. And again, like I'd visited him countless times. And after lockdown, it was his birthday. It was his 30th in October. And a few of the guys were like, you know what? Like, we've had a lockdown. Let's just go out and, celebrate his birthday and just have a holiday. And I think on previous occasions when I'd come to Dubai, I stayed in like hotels and, like went to the beach clubs and went to the nightclubs and stuff. So I never really saw it as a place of community or a place that had like people with regular jobs. And I just thought it was just like a pretentious place, like a bit shallow, a bit fake. And, everyone's just wearing designer and, like in order to kind of actually be comfortable here, you have to spend crazy amounts of money and stuff. And so it was never a place that I wanted to live. And I think coming out for his birthday, and it was small things like on a Saturday morning, he was part of this fitness group that would train outside and on an outdoor gym near the marina. And, like just waking up to good weather. Like at one point I stayed at a friend's apartment for a few days and I was like, yo, this is like, even though the views of the apartment, like in terms of Dubai views, aren't like nothing crazy, but compared to say where I was living in the UK, like even if I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing a motorway and it's sunny and it's bright, that's different to, waking up with snow on my car, And so it's
the dark mornings.
Yeah. Like those mornings of scraping the snow off my car are long gone, and so I just saw like a community as well. I saw like, he had regular friends like teachers and, like people that worked in like offices and, like going to like his gym and, also he obviously it was his birthday. So I got to meet actually like his core group of people and stuff. And I was like, wow, like you've really kind of found home here in a way that I didn't think existed. So I extended my flight, my stay. So I was due to go back and I was like to my friends, I think I'm going to stay for like a week longer. They were like, they need to go back. I was like, no, just try and stay for a week longer. So they left and I stayed for a week longer and took a couple of DJ gigs there. And then in one of the venues, I was like I'm, like I might move out to Dubai. Is there any opportunities to DJ, like regularly? And then they were basically offering me a weekly residency. And I was like, okay, that's not enough for me to kind of come out, but let me extend for another week and just kind of just see, like, put the feelers out. I will say that, and we can touch it in a bit as well. So, do you know when I mentioned earlier that I left, like during lockdown, I managed to, just before lockdown, I got another job as legal counsel. So, my friend, she was head of PR, social media at GHD. They make the hair straighteners. And then she basically just hit me up and was like, we need a legal counsel. We've got a general legal counsel, but we need another person in the team. I know that like you're not really doing the law thing, but you're obviously qualified. How would you feel about doing it? You could do it, like you can choose your hours basically. You can be part-time if you want it to be. So I took on that role, and that's the role I kind of had part-time during lockdown. But obviously because it was lockdown, I was like, even though it's supposed to be like 2 days working from home, I was like, the days that I weren't working, I was like, you need me today?
Yeah.
Do you need me today? Like, so basically ended up becoming full-time during lockdown, but working obviously from my room in London or whatever, my flat in London. And so I came out to Dubai and I extended my stay, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to move out here, I think I need to go back to the UK and see like what the tone is with work in terms of if they would allow me to kind of work remotely and stuff. And they were like, they had no issues with it. So I came out in November to do like a month trial. And I was like, do you know what? If I'm going to move out here, let me not live out here as if I'm on holiday. Let me, go to the supermarket and buy food and cook. And, like, so I remember going in, this is before I knew about all the technology Dubai has in terms of like Insta Shop and stuff. But I was like walking to Spinneys and, you know, doing my grocery shopping. And then, you know, I remember filling up my fridge and stuff and trialing, but also actively looking for venues to bring one of my brunch events that I had in London to. And we found a venue and they gave us a date and we put the event on and they loved it. And then they offered us a weekly to do that. And I was like, the numbers started to make sense to me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like I think I can do this. So I went back to GHD and I was like, guys, like I don't need to be like in my room or in my flat in London, right? I can do this from wherever. And my line manager supervisor at the time was like, yeah, you can do it wherever you want. So I booked a flight, like to basically make the move permanent. And then the day before, she called me. She was like, "Oh, like when are you looking to go to Dubai?" And I was like, "Tomorrow." And then she was like, "Oh, it might be an issue." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like I've booked my flights, etc." So I had a call with HR and everything, and then they were like, "Yeah, it wouldn't be fair if you were abroad and everyone else isn't, and you know tax implications, etc., etc." And I was like, "Well, like I only work for you 2 days a week. Like I also need to, you know,
Have
make
other sources of income.
yeah throughout the other days of the week. And like this is me actively like trying to pursue that." And like they said, yeah, it's fine. Like they understood and they were like, don't make an exception. Funny though, like because then and I love the people at GHD all but I got to Dubai and then I think like maybe day 2 of being there, I get called into a meeting with HR and stuff, and you know I get made redundant.
Wow.
Yeah. But I wasn't, again, you know, you talk about that whole fear thing. I think in this situation, I was maybe a little bit more anxious, but again, the excitement of being in Dubai and new opportunities.
Yeah.
Plus, I also had like it was a good redundancy package. So I was like, okay, this can be my startup cost for Dubai now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I think things just happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, because also, like, to be honest with you, it was becoming frustrating, you know, being in Dubai, being excited, doing all this, and then having to check in back to being grounded again and, you know, having to respond to emails and, you know, find myself like when there's so much going on around me, like being back in my apartment in Dubai, like responding to emails and, you know, working to a UK timeline, which now is 4 hours behind, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like at 5 p.m. Dubai time.
It's like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And then at like 10 p.m. I might want to go to sleep. And it's like, I'm getting a call, you know what I mean? And there's stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up transitioning into Dubai. It was a holiday that I guess gave me, and it wasn't like my usual holidays to Dubai, but this holiday in particular gave me exposure to community in Dubai and a normal way of living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that, like, almost the thing that you'd made stable got taken from you.
Yeah.
And then you, as soon as you're here, and you're kind of just thrown into the deep end.
Yeah.